Another big name I'd like to just touch on briefly is Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, you toured with him during
quickly.
Yes, indeed. You toured with him on the Bark at the Moon album tour, didn't you? I mean, you and Ozzy got on well, but same couldn't be said for Sharon, could it? No.
Yeah, I got on great with Ozzy, and Sharon was. I don't get it. I mean, they called me. I didn't call them. I agreed to do the tour and everything. I had a manager at the time. You know, I was pretty big at the time. You know, I just come out of Rod, you know, all those hits, playing in front of 120,000 people in L.A. and I'm in all the magazines. I'm writing articles for Circus every issue. You know, I was big. I had a big name going. I was a Sensonic spokesperson. You know, getting paid for that. I was Mattel Drums. Mattel Sensonic Drums was backing me. I had a solo album out on Rod's label. You know, there's a lot of things going on. And they called me and they said they didn't like what Tommy Aldridge did on the record. They wanted me to come in and take over. You know, I said, you want me to recut the record? And they said, no, we want you to go in the studio with Ozzy and Tony Bon Jovi and help make the record sound better, you know, drum-wise and all that. So can you come to London and play with the band? Sure. So I went to London. I was in Cannes, France, doing a convention for Sensonic Drums. You know, I was on the beach. I was having a good time. You know, I had my wife at the time was with me, and so I went to London. My ex-wife now, she went home to L.A. And then I was in there. I played with the band. It was Jakey Lee. I knew Jake from L.A. Bob Daisley. I knew him from Rainbow, and Don Airey I didn't know, and I knew Ozzy from Black Sabbath. I mean, when Black Sabbath did their first tour, we toured with them with Cactus. You know, we almost got a fist fight with them too, because somebody from Black Sabbath stole a bag of pot from us, and our little roadie, and punched him in the face. You know, we were like this with Ozzy and other guys with us. And our singer, Rusty D, he carried guns and knives and everything, so it wasn't a good idea to get in a scuff with him, you know. But I mean, Ozzy laughed about that when we were on tour, you know, together. But anyway, so I went to there, I played with him, and we agreed to do it. So Sharon talked to my manager, worked out a deal. And my deal was I would have my own merch, just a T-shirt. And I was able to do master classes in America, which I was doing for charities. And I would play, like we pull into a city, get a setup, I get a sound check, I get picked up by a store, I go to a music store, and I do a master class for 50 students, 30 students rather. And, you know, take an hour and 15 minutes. I would just show them grooves and bring people up and sell my drum book, sign autographs, and leave. And I get back to the venue, and I totally like another hour before we go on. You know, I would have ate dinner by then. And it was good. So I was doing a lot of those, and they were sold out, and I was giving money to UNICEF charity.
Yep.
And I was making big money with that. And I was making whatever I made with Ozzy and the per diems and everything. And Sharon didn't like that. And I had my own publicist too. And I was getting articles in every city we went to because I was giving money to the charities. You know, that was the whole idea. My manager he used to work with KISS on the PR, and so he knew how to get a lot of PR, and I was getting a lot of PR, and she just didn't like it. She was pushing Jakey Lee, and I was getting more press than Jakey Lee. You know, so, you know, one time, this is a long story. I'll try and make it quick. One time in Cincinnati, I had a full-page article in the big newspaper, and it talked about everything, you know, I was doing, playing with Ozzy and playing with this and that, doing this and, you know. And then they said, what's the biggest effect in the show? And I said, well, I think it's the drum solo, because I'm up on a 15-foot riser and stairs coming down. The stairs open up. The drums come down on a track to the front of the stage. I finish the solo there. Explosions go up there on the balcony, and then I go back up. I said, but I didn't think of this whole thing. It was Ozzy and Sharon's idea. It's their scheme, you know, their plan for the tour, not me. Whoever was playing drums would get this. So I come in that day after the masterclass, and that article is all over the backstage. I mean, printed up like 30, 40 copies of it, just plastered all over just to bust my balls, you know? I said, okay. And then my roadie, I had my own tech, comes up and said, hey, CA, he goes, all your T-shirts, the head was cut off of all your T-shirts. I said, come on, you kidding me? So I run up to Robert, the tour manager, who's the Def Leppard drummer's brother, you know? I said, Robert, what's going on? He goes, go talk to Sharon. And then it was like, but you don't have time. We have to hit the stage in like 20 minutes. I said, okay. So I was like fuming, you know?
Yeah.
So I get up on stage playing the show. My solo comes. Now, usually, just before the stairs start moving, the thing goes down, my roadie taps me on the butt, so I'm not on the bass drum because it jerks and it screws up your bass drum. So I'll be on the snare drum. So he taps me on the butt. I'm 15 feet up. He's on a little ledge behind me, tapping me. I'm playing on the snare drum, waiting for the thing to move. Nothing happened. So I just figured it's not going to work tonight. I did my solo from there. I got the same reaction I always get, except when the pyro went off, I was there. I shouldn't have been there. I felt the hairs on my arm sizzle, you know? So now I got up the stage, and we get up the stage. Ozzy and Sharon were getting the bus with their kids, and me and the rest of the band were getting our bus. So I get to Bob Daisley. I said, Bob, do you think Sharon would sabotage her own show to make me look bad because of that stupid article? He says, definitely, without a doubt. So that's the only time that it didn't work. And then after that, she kept telling me that I'm tired after my master class, and I explained to her, there's no way I'm tired. When Ozzy would come up to me and say, before she, oh, bloody knackered, mate, and it's before we're walking on stage. Motley Crue's opening up, they're killing it. I said, come on, dude, let's kill it, you know? So then I saw Tommy Aldridge hanging around in Dallas, and the weekend in Houston. Played the last gig in Houston. The band was on fire, and Robert comes up to me and says, hey, Sharon wants to talk to you. So I go in there. And she basically fired me. She said, your name is too big. You need your own band. And, you know, so Tommy Aldridge is taking over on Monday. I said, Sharon, I got a contract with you. She goes, well, I'll see you in court. And I said, what about my drums? She goes, well, I asked your roadie to stay. I said, he ain't going to stay with you if you're firing me, you know? She goes, you're right. He's not staying. So I told him he can drive the drums home. I said, no, I don't want to drive the drums home. You flew the drums out. I want the drums flown back to LA along with my roadie flown. I never did that. It was part of the lawsuit.
Honestly, that's incredible.
Yeah,
so,
and you know, I have not talked to her since.
But things between you and Ozzy are still good, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, one time Zach was doing his handprint on the Rock Walk of Fame in LA, and I was talking to Ozzy. And he's going, oh, mate, how are you kids and how's everything? I go, good, how are you? I was happy to talk to you. You know, I gave me a hug, and we're talking. And all of a sudden, the security guard comes over. Ozzy, Sharon wants you. She probably saw him talking to me. Yeah. You know? And then my brother played with Sabbath, and when Ozzy was there, and Sharon says to my brother, you're a lot nicer than your brother. And I mean, I never did anything to her. Matter of fact, the first time I saw Ozzy and her, you know, we were on the bus, and I see Ozzy and Sharon, and we were in England in a rest area, and Ozzy just winged off and hit her in the face, kind of thing. And I started getting up, going, "Hey, dude," you know. Started going out of the bus to like, well, I think, what are you doing? You don't hit a woman like that. And Bob Davis says, "Stay out of it." I did. Next thing I know, she's swinging right back at him, hitting him worse than he hit her. I said, "Oh, I see what you mean."
Jeez.
So it was a strange.
Very.
It was a strange time, you know. The band was great, you know, and now Ozzy couldn't remember the lyrics. He used to paste them on the back of Bob Daisley. You know, but I loved Ozzy. He was a good man.